breeze blowing, storm clouds moving in. Whatever's gonna happen, it's about to begin. I remember what the drunk donkey told me when he said, son, don't fear. Mike's where the page life is about to appear. Then he's gonna tell you about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you which way it's going, and if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news that they try to hide. Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand that Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend Mike, he's your man. Then he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here at Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation Pride.
All right. Good evening, everybody. What's going on? It's the 9 p.m. edition of our Daily Brew live. We'll be live tomorrow night. Not sure 8 or 9, but we'll figure that out tomorrow. Today's a new day. Tomorrow's a new day. So we're going to talk about the Western Caribbean and show you all the latest. Okay, this is our Dirty 30. We just go right into it. We slow it down in the morning, so no chit chat on these little quickies. You all can chat with each other. I really won't be able to read much comments, so no hard feelings, I hope. But I like to get right into it, and if we got any time at the end, we'll do it. But definitely lots to watch, with our system. So, I will say real quick, sharing, I share a lot. Shelly figured out years ago I averaged 12 posts a day. It was a lot today. Some people got mad about it, but I did a little poll on Facebook today, and I had 12,500 votes so far. And I said, should we only stick to national hurricane updates or everything else? And we have 12,293 said keep sharing everything. So 259 said only NHC. So maybe that's some pretty big odds. So majority of y'all like me sharing all the latest. I just posted the 18Z GFS ensemble. So I want to keep doing what I'm doing. For some reason, this is the year of people saying don't share anything. But we're going to keep sharing stuff because that's what I do. That's what I love to do. If I don't share everything, then I won't love what I'm doing. So we're going to keep sharing everything. So if it's a little too much for you, I apologize. I know it's confusing. That's why I always say stick to the National Hurricane Center. These model swings can be frustrating, but there's a science to it, or not really a science to it. There's a method to it, and we all learn together. We all go through this tropical cyclone together. Every storm, we do the same thing. Tracking it leading up to it. So believe it or not, there is, consistency still. But I'm going to share all the latest and greatest. All right, so we're going to get into it. Dirty 30. Here's the latest 8 p.m. Update from the National Hurricane Center. They'll have a new one at 2 a.m. and 8 a.m. So they did bump it up to 30%. Not a big jump, obviously. They're talking about slow development of the system as it moves north or northwest the next few days, or lower Gulf. So that yellow area is where they expect development in the next 7 days. There's no center yet. It's not an invest. I'm going to show you why. It's an area of low pressure that's going to develop. So we have no center. That means we don't have any spaghetti models. Okay, so it's frustrating for a lot of folks because sharing models on a system that's not even there yet kind of could be irresponsible. But we love models, and models sometimes are right. So it's just a weird deal. Once we get that center of circulation, the hurricane hunters go in. We start getting better, data. But timing is next week, no matter what. This thing could start developing over the weekend down there. First part of next week, it could be developing. Okay, and it's Thursday tomorrow now. Every day we do this, it's another day closer to reality. Okay, so that's sad. I mean, 30%. If everything else is confusing and you don't like it, I'm okay with that. This is what you need right here, 30%. That might be enough. All right. This is a cool little model. This kind of puts things together. We do have an area in the Atlantic. That's Gordon. I think it was Gordon. Hell, I don't even remember now. Anyway, if it comes back, it comes back. There are a couple waves out here. We're not going to worry about these things. But, this little thing blends in modeling, and this is the general thinking somewhere here in the next 5 to 6 days development. 42% chance. So there's that. It's all going to come down to this, okay? So what I posted this earlier today. This is the 500 millibar steering maps, okay? The 18Z GFS came out. I obviously didn't share that one. That was like one you do not share. It was west, and it was bad. It showed a slower system. It showed a weaker front. So two things here. Front strong, which they have been all year. It'll lift our system northward, likely be somewhere in this general area Wednesday and Thursday, and it will follow that front, typical, and get out of here. For some reason, if that front is weaker, then we could see a little trek west before an eventual turn north, okay? That's, if you're wondering why a couple of the models are still showing a little bit of west tick here and there, it's because they're showing a little weaker front, more high pressure. This is high pressure, and these things follow the high pressure, and that's that. So I'm going to show you the ensembles. Believe it or not, we had a few operational runs show this, but the ensembles are what we look at right now. Ensembles are blends of all the GFS. And before I lose you, the 18Z GFS run was west, and it was bad. All the GFS ensembles are still east of that. So when you have 31 members of the GFS saying north and east in that one outlier operational run, you kind of don't go all in on that west run yet, okay? And the Euro AI has been like middle east, west, middle east, west. So even the Euro AI came back a little bit. So I don't think much has changed other than maybe a little slower down there, which could be bad, okay? I wasn't going to show this, and I'm not going to show it, but I was looking at Michael's satellite. Michael's formed almost the same way. It was a Central American gyre. It took forever. Once that energy came around and started wrapping around, then it sat there, and we know what happens with that. So it's kind of that scenario. So some of these models are showing strong system. So we got to just keep all that open. Now, this is something interesting I wanted to share. I pulled up the data. This is off the National Weather Service website. This is updated from 1949 to 2023. This is the week of September 21st through the 30th. This is all tropical activity. So the reason I posted this was just climatology. There's very few in the Western Gulf. So it's not to say it can't happen. It's just majority of the time we have a lift or we have a turn. So this is not trying to, defend. Some people think I have a Florida agenda. No, I'm just saying historically, this week, all the systems that we've ever seen, and Mother Nature does repeat herself. So this, not to say it can't happen. I'm just saying it usually doesn't happen. Middle to Eastern Gulf. So that was a historical tracks of storms for this week coming up. Let me just show you the latest 4 runs of the year. The last 2 Euro. We're going to look at all operational runs, but things I want to point out are a couple things. So, European 12Z runs. Okay, these came out today. These are your freshest European ensembles, the 12Zs. So remember earlier today we had some run in Texas. Okay, when you see pretty much every model east. Now we have some weak ones that stayed down here. So granted, yes, so that could be a system that doesn't develop, but every system that develops kind of up and east. So the Euro ensembles tell you a lot that at least those Western runs at this point are outliers. Not saying that it can't happen. It's just those outliers get frustrating because you see this, and you see that. Well, you got to look at trends, and the trends still are upper, and that, believe it or not, that's a little bit better cluster for the Euro when it's still not showing much development. Overnight Euro is kind of everywhere, so that one was really bad. So if you look at the two of them, the Euro got tighter at the 12Z is what I'm getting at. Now the latest GFS just ran. Let me pull it up in the big screen here. I think these 18Z. Yeah, let me pull these up. All right, so let's just kind of use the 18Z as an example here. This one goes out 10 days. So that bad run that everybody probably saw from the 18Z. But when you don't have a lot of ensemble support, you just kind of have to toss it, in my opinion. Your 18Z ensembles, a vast majority of them are still upper with a lot east still. These are the latest 18Z spaghetti models. A little slower in time, but you can see that upper to eastern bias on the 18Z GFS. Those just got done running literally. So timing, when we go out, when you look at timing, this is 7 days from now. So we started to see some popping into the picture here midweek, okay? The 18Z was a little slower, but we have 2 schools of camp. Two schools of camp, if that makes sense. I don't know. We have the 26 here. We have a fast bunch of the ones getting lifted up by that front. Then we have another batch that's kind of been lingering down here and then finally kind of gets going. Those are the ones we got to worry about. More time over water could definitely allow more intensification, and that's why we're seeing some pretty big purple numbers, which is 950 millibar or less. There are some. But that, the thing I like, the thing I feel good about at this point is we still have consistency with that Eastern Gulf. Not that I'm rooting for it. I'm just looking for consistency, and that's what we got. So now this is the 18Z. Some call this the midnight hour. Some people say don't ever use the 18Z GFS, but the ensembles kind of still do that. The afternoon 12Z was really heavily Eastern Gulf, Florida. So, and listen, I post it because everybody likes it. They like posting information, and it just brings out so much anger that I post a model like that. Not that I just posted the 18Z, so I try to be fair. I posted the Euro 12Z earlier just because it only gets 30 likes compared to 500. It's still there. So I try to keep it neutral. I don't have an agenda. But anyway, there was the 12Z 8 GFS. So there you go. All right. So I want to look at all the model runs here. And this is fascinating. All right. So this is really... So going back... So Google... I don't want to use Michael. The only reason I said Michael is because it was a Central American gyre type of a system that got started in the same general area. But what's fascinating with the latest GFS here are all of the models. So this is on tropicaltidbits.com, and here's Sunday. Now what we're looking at here is basically, if you look at the wind bars, we got winds from the east, we got winds from the west. We're getting some moisture flow around Central America that's eventually going to wrap up around. Now watch this thing. This whole general area here is where we're watching. And it's really crazy to see how this moisture from the Pacific and winds wrapping around and basically get our system going, and that's what we're going to be looking at. Now, this is a little slower. This is Tuesday, Wednesday. Now, it definitely slowed down about a day. But the GFS got pretty darn strong, 982 right there. So, I'm going to stop it right there. You can go look at it. It was a bad run. But what it is telling me is one extra day over water could really allow this thing a little more time to strengthen. And it all comes down to that front. The strength of that front. So there's that run. Just in comparison, the 12Z already had it up here. So it definitely sped up, gave it less time to organize, but it still had it as a hurricane. But obviously not as bad as the 18Z. So 2 runs, there you go. The latest Canadian from this morning, we didn't show any 12Zs, 986, that's always been my concern. That's why maybe I've raised a little bit more, post, I don't know, but just from history, this area is an area you watch. That's all. I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen. Maybe it won't happen, but I'm just saying historically, this is the area you watch. And the Canadian, 986, and it, kind of does that, then it curves back. So that's that one. And the Euro AI has come back to something similar. It's kind of been going west, and then now it's back towards the upper Gulf, Florida, Mobile area. Timing here would be Friday. That's the fast evolution. There's Friday. This next week coming up. The Icon has been really picking up on it. We love the Icon. It's kind of only stuck at, it only goes out 180 hours, but it's down at 993 in the middle of the Gulf. But what you're starting to see here is that little bit of turn. See a little bit of turn at the end? Starting to react to this front coming down. So far, most of these models there's that front coming down. This is on Wednesday. So if that front's strong, which has been, this will lift and this will probably turn to the east, okay? The only, kicker would be if it misses that front and it lingers an extra day or so and gets a little more time over water. So, we watch things. They evolve. That's why, there's two ways you could do this. You can stick to the National Hurricane Center 7-day as an area and leave it at that. I mean, and that's the safe way to do it. But, I love watching models in weather. So we like to do that here. And, I know the easy way out for everybody is just copy and paste the National Hurricane Center. But, it's just kind of frustrating, this far out, to have. I understand when things change. But so far, we are seeing signs of a system that's developing that's pretty much on every model. Track seems like it's leaning East Gulf. That's to me, that's good consistency, kind of where we were last night, other than a few more runs a little more west, but now we're kind of back to that upper Gulf again. So we'll keep an eye on that Icon and see if it swings a little bit either direction. But there's that front. The big thing is that front. And if that front's strong, even the Euro here, the operational run was a sloppy mess up into Texas. It's still showing our front. So, and again, the Euro ensembles are way east of this, middle to east. So when the operational run is this and all the ensembles are over here, this is probably not going to happen. But anyway, so it's all about that front. There's a lot of discussion about that front. The only thing I can go off of is what we've seen all year, and the fronts have been quite strong. So we kind of did that with Ian. We kind of knew that was the year of fronts. We kind of knew this year's kind of been the year of fronts. And that's just what we're going to see, is how strong this dip is next week. And, if this high pressure builds back in. So, the GFS is showing that weakness a little less, but then you go back to 12Z and it's a lot stronger. Right here, blues are low pressure, and that's your front. So it'll come down to that. This Canadians showing that getting picked up by that weakness and going around our too high pressure system. That is the most logical solution this time of year, but we have to keep all those other options on the plate, and that's what I try to let everybody know on that. So again, it's not that far away. That's the thing. I mean, I'm talking to myself here, but this is 7 days out. Modeling should not be so discreditable 7 days out. So that's kind of what we're looking at. So right now, ensembles are your number one friend. Operational runs, I look at them, but you like to see a common theme with all the operational runs. And we kind of do, actually. I think that GFS was the outlier, but we'll see what overnight 00Z does. It'll probably bounce back east again. So, the one thing I've learned with tropics, you get this, we talk about flip-flops, not on my feet, but in the models flip-flop. They do this windshield wiper effect. You can't get emotionally involved with every single model run. At this point, we just know there's a developing low pressure system. We know historically they could become strong, and we just have to watch it. We just have to know the time frame that we're talking middle of next week. We can start to see rain bands into the Keys as late as Tuesday night if this thing, did that Eastern Gulf. So that's less than a week. And some of those GFS ensembles are Florida Peninsula, and some of them are up. So the thing you gotta really kind of know that let's say some of these GFS ensembles are correct. Let's zoom in really close here and go to those GFS ensembles. Even with the latest GFS run of that far western turn, some of these models get there pretty darn early, and that's where you got to be ready. We can see some of these as early as Wednesday, getting awfully close. All right, a couple other models. Let's look at the latest UK. The UK only goes out 168 hours, but it's starting to show your low right here starting to set up. And again, what's kind of fascinating is watch this whole area just start to spin. And these are the systems that get that look. All of a sudden, all that convection starts coming together, and that's what you don't want to see. But that's probably going to start happening. Late this weekend, early Monday, we could start to see something happening down here. So the latest UK here stops, but there's our center. Anything that develops east of that Yucatan definitely is more of a eastern, upper Florida setup. I'm telling you. And let's see what the front shows on the UK. So the UK starts to show pretty strong front coming down. So we'll keep an eye on that. By tomorrow, we should have another run. See what that front shows. But there's the beginning stages of something down there. And it might not look like much, but it's definitely starting to show here in the pressure ranges, almost 1,000 millibars. So it's developing here. This is Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. And then the Korean model, which I really find useful sometimes, is still showing development. And it's noteworthy to this show. It's that general turn. So there's that. And that's pretty darn strong. Holy crap, 939. Let's hope that don't happen. But so again, I like the ensembles. Good place to look at them is Weather Nerds and Tropical Tidbits. Weather Nerds, you can really zoom in to the area, and you can run them one model at a time, and you can fast forward them, and you can start to see, so when you run these, the L is the time, is the end of that run. So, and the timestamps are up here. So if we get to Tuesday of next week, here is Wednesday morning. This is now the 18Z. Remember, the 18Z is a little slower, but still, this is, Thursday early morning. So if any of these 31 members of the GFS, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe a third of them, some of them are really kicking it fast, and we could see something as early as middle week here. This could be Wednesday, could be Thursday. This is Thursday morning. These two already made it. I know it looks like a lot, but when you compare it to the operational run, so again, here is most all your GFS ensembles. There are a couple, but then you had that really bad one over here, the main operational run. So if you're into statistics and you see 25 models saying there, but that one run makes you just not really get too worked up about it. So, and the 12Z over 12Z, I don't know about this year, but usually the 00Z gets fed fresh data along with the 12Z. That was the old school. I don't know about it anymore, but usually the 12Z, 00Z were more trustworthy in the past. And here was the 12Z. Big difference. So anyway, that's where we're at. Key points. Listen, it's still developing. There's still, nothing certain to be worried about. I mean, it's just, we got a Gulf system brewing, and I'd be watching close. That's bottom line. I will go over the conditions tomorrow morning. We got shear and water temp and MJO and vertical shear and things that are, appearing that it could help something get developed quicker, as far as favorable conditions go. So we'll see about that. So that's it. I'm going to read comments for a few minutes. Thank you, Jules. Thank you, David Reitman. Chris, are you drinking? You're welcome. Bruno Jones, you're welcome. Good morning. Generic greeting, you're welcome. So I guess in a nutshell, let me get my TikTok hat on. I do these TikTok videos every day. When you look at that NHC graphic, this is what you see. And let's open it up big time. So here you go. So when you see the NHC graphic, that is a general area that they expect development in 7 days. Only 30% chance. I'm sure in that formula that they use the euro to come up with these percentages. I don't know that, but I'm pretty sure the euro's included. The euro this year has not done good at all. It has been, in my opinion, terrible. It's missed more than it's been right, especially early on. So, the year of Ian, we discounted the GFS that year. The euro was king. This year, I think the GFS and CMC are pretty darn good. So this is the area that we can see development. So what is it, all the other crap that I'm posting? All right. What I've been posting are spaghetti models. That's why the website's called Spaghetti Model. That's why we have a beer named Spaghetti Model. See? And we see the trends of potential hurricane. Yes, we see the trends of an upper Gulf, East Gulf trend that's still there. Okay, we see a few outliers going west, keeping everybody kind of pegged there, but we're seeing, consistency on something developing. So pretty much everything I've shared today just was a continuation of that thinking of something pulling up, something organizing, something turning eventually off a little bit because of that cold front. So that's kind of been, the consistent theme. A couple models went west, but the ensembles kind of hint that it doesn't think that yet. All right. What would cause it to go west would be that thing sat down there for a long, long time. Then things could change. But historically, they get moving when there's a front coming down. And this year, there's been strong fronts. So my take is still the same. You know, historically, an area to watch. We have fronts that have been strong all year. This thing develops east of Yucatan. It's almost a sure bet that this thing's going to be Eastern Gulf. And if I had to still pick, I'd still say Florida. If I had to pick, it's not it's nothing official with that. It's just seeing the majority of that turning. So, but I've seen models change overnight, and so that's just where it's at today. But every day is a day closer. Okay, tomorrow's Thursday. We should start seeing development Tuesday and Wednesday, less than 5 days. All right, so that's that. So listen, we are live in the morning, 9:19 Eastern. We will spend a lot more time. And I don't do it for clicks. What do I get out of clicks? I don't know. So we'll hang out in the Brew Crew here for a little bit. Ricky Perry, come on, right? I don't think Mother Nature's had 3 storms hit the same area 3 years in a row now, or 2 years. Debbie, Idalia, and maybe this thing. Hey, look at the big old stars. Holy cow, man, that was very nice of you, Eric. Appreciate that, buddy. Oh yeah, my man. Look at that. I met Eric. Yeah, that street flooding was oh my God, it was terrible. Oh, your street flooding. Oh, see they Morgan City right there. So we Eric, thanks for the stars again, buddy. He's saying I got out just in time that Morgan City got flooded. Good to know. So it was nice meeting you, by the way, buddy. I did check out the boat ramp. It was pretty cool. Saw a dude catch a catfish, man. Huge. I thought it was a shark. It looked like a great white shark. Literally. It was huge. Guy threw it back in the water. What the hell? I'll be live in the morning. Yep. Date would be, tomorrow's 9/19. Tomorrow's 9/19 on 9/19. Do I want some jerky? Anyway. All right. Oh, Chris, that's fine. We don't need stars, man. We love it. 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 It's cool. All right, 30 minutes, man. We're going to do it. I got dinner waiting for me. So, listen, I hope we got some information on that. Anybody new, thank you so much for joining us. Not meant to overwhelm, and if it is, I'm okay with that. But we're going to keep sharing models. The 00Z GFS comes out at 11:30 p.m. My guess is going to come back east. And then the Icon will be out. The 00Z Icon runs around 11 p.m. But, I guess the only thing in that last GFS run I'm a little worried about is that extra day over water, The Canadians showing it pretty strong down there in the Yucatan too. So anyway, all right. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see y'all in the morning. Okay, 9:19 Eastern. Cheers.